let's talk about the schedule. And today we will talk about differential game and also the evolution, simplified version of evolution game. And for differential game, as I mentioned, today, I have to give a very quick overview. This differential, basically I will give a kind of differential control in 1.5 hours. Differential control is basically, optimal control is basically one semester process. But here I just give you a very quick overview for that. And I hope that, I will not kind of push too much thing together. So let's have the introduction, and so basically the basics, and then we talk about the controllability, and then we talk about this kind of linear, ODE, band control, and the thing that we talk about the maximum principle, and then we talk about dynamic programming and dynamic game. Okay, so basically what is the problem? Unlike the non-cooperative game, and here for the dynamic game or dynamic control, first you have an ODE, differential equation. So, for example, for example, some state is a function of the current state, and its differentiation is equal to the current state times some control, and starting from initial. And for example, the room temperature. Every time you go back to home, you turn on the room temperature, and then the air conditioner working, and that one will kind of, your air conditioner working make your room temperature low, so that the next time the differential, the temperature going down. And or today, this NASA sends this kind of big things to the sun, right? And it's called Parker. Parker's kind of explore to the sun to explore to the sun. And that one, I will talk about how to control it. And then you have such kind of thing like this kind of ODE. And then how could you run your control? Such that, those cost functions from 0 to t will be kind of optimized. And this is a kind of cost over the time, and also you have a final kind of cost for that. And then we want to find some kind of control, such as the payoff function will be optimized compared with the other type. So the question is that, suppose we have this ODE, suppose we have the initial condition, and suppose we know this kind of cost function, R, and then the final kind of cost function, T. Then how could we design the control R for T, which is a continuous over time, and then to optimize this one. So here you can see in this way, this one is the cost in the middle. For example, the fuel cost, right? The fuel cost. And this one is also important because whether or not you can reach the destination, or this SpaceX, for example, SpaceX, this rocket going up and then going down. And there are two conditions for them for this GT. Is that first it should reach on the ground. And that's simple, free fall is also on the ground. The second thing, when it's reached the ground, the speed is 0. So that it can stand there. And then so this will give them the cost about the final, at the time t, it should stand on the rocket should be standing there. So basically this is the case. And then, so basically, this is a setup for that. Oh, sorry. And here is the example, and the moon lander, and here h is the height, v is the velocity, m is the mass, alpha t is a thrust at time t. So basically, how much this kind of engine should shoot. And here, this is a Newton law. And then we have the ODE. First one, this kind of speed. The speed differentiation is an acceleration, right? This is a minus t. First, it should be going down. Second thing, this is a thrust over the mass. This is a basic thrust going down, and this is the mass of your kind of rocket. So that this is the ODE. And the second one is the height. The height differentiation the height differentiation is the speed. And the third one is the mass. The mass differentiation is how fast your kind of field will cost. K is a constant. Over the time, okay, your mass reduced because you're shooting down this kind of engine below, right? The field below. So that, okay, you will have this kind of, suppose I define x equal to speed, height, and mass. Then I can have a differential equation. This is x differentiation equal to those in a function of your current state. The current state including your speed, your height, and your mass. So basically, this is the ODE. And then what you want is minimize the field, remaining field, for example. Or you can optimize, make your rocket to going up, and then maybe come back, landing on here with a speed of 0. So basically, this is your objective. Then you can define the objective you want. But those objectives is obviously over time, from 0 to t. So this is a major difference from this kind of the regular game and this type of kind of dynamic game. The dynamic game, okay, you have this kind of over time. So you need to do that. So this is the thing. And another example, let me go back. Oh, you cannot hear me over there?
It's better, I think.
Okay, sure. Okay. Hello? Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry for that. This room is bigger than the other one. Okay. And then, okay, another example is that, okay, my first PhD student has done some work about the room temperature control. Here, you know that the temp is a hot summer, right? The air condition have a lot of cost a lot of energy. So what they do is that, okay, first the room temperature, they define the room temperature and this air condition, so the room temperature will going down. And then what they want to do is that, okay, they want to minimize the 1 day's kind of overall cost under the constraint that, okay, people feel comfortable. So what they do is that, okay, they do the control over the different time based on several things. First one, the class schedule. So for example, you have class now here, so sometime before you should kind of, maybe 10 minutes before you should make this temperature going down. And another thing is that, okay, by your Wi-Fi access. So every here or there you have this Wi-Fi access point. And when you walk around, or there's people around, okay, most people, okay, I appreciate most of you guys listen to me, okay. But sometimes, okay, you use your phone, and then the Wi-Fi will know how many people are around here. And then they will do this control for that. So finally, okay, they want to minimize the overall cost, the utility bill for the air conditioning under the constraint of everybody satisfied by observing the class schedule as well as Wi-Fi schedule. So by doing this, we have the smart building for this. Okay, so this is the dynamic control, right? Oh, sorry. And then there are two concepts. The first one is controllability. So the question is that, okay, given any initial and any target, can it make this kind of things into the finite time? So in other words, by initial x0 and I have a target at x location, and can you take a control to make it there? And well, the answer is that, okay, we define a reachable site, and then over the different time we put this reachable site. This is the time t what we can reach, and then we put them together, then we get this overall reachable site. And then for linear ODE, so basically the so-called linear ODE is that, okay, your state times a kind of matrix, and this is the linear combination. And then this is your control times a level n. This is a linear matrix, and then control this one. So all those things are linear ODE. And this linear ODE compare with the previous one. Yeah, this one can be any ODE. And typically for NASA, okay, this is a linear, because you see everything is a linear thing, so basically linear ODE. And then we can solve such kind of system. So suppose we don't have control. Suppose we don't have control, then it's a free run system. So the solution will become, okay, over the time t, and then the exponential of the previous one. Either it's only going down or it's only going up. And then if you have the control, FD, then the optimal solution will look like this one. But this solution, not optimal, the reachable solution will look like this one if you have a control FT over here. But this one is cannot kind of design the optimal. So by doing this, okay, this one is not a kind of, I mean, it's just, it's useless for some kind of thing. Later we will say, how could we do an optimal control for this? Okay, then suppose you have a matrix G. Matrix G is put in this way. This is the N matrix, M matrix, M to the power 2 matrix. Remember, this N matrix is your linear kind of matrix of X, a linear matrix of your kind of control. And then if we construct such kind of G matrix, then we say that, okay, if the eigenvalue of this kind of matrix, the real value is less than 0, then the whole thing is controllable. So in other words, okay, suppose it's depending on your M and N. If your M and N satisfy certain condition, this condition, and then, okay, you can achieve from any starting point to the other point with your finite time. So in NASA, in the physics, with M and N, the example I show you here, the example, this M and N satisfy this kind of controllability. And then, okay, so in other words, any place in the universe, we can achieve there by finite time. And for example, this new horizon go to Pluto, and how far away from Pluto, compared to Pluto. And the accuracy is within a kind of football field. So basically from shooting from here to the Pluto, and then the error is within, the distance of error is within a football field. So basically you can see that, okay, those type of control is very accurate. So this is the first thing, I mean, about controllability. And the second thing is called observability. So the observability, if this system is called observable, if and the knowledge at of y, I have a y equal to this matrix, observed matrix, and suppose I observe from 0 to t, any interval along here, we can compute the initial condition. So basically initial condition. And then there are some kind of proof for that. So basically means, okay, for example, just a few months ago, there's a kind of, spaceship type of comic, right? A very long one, look like Star Wars coming to the solar system, if you remember the news a few months ago. And then by using this, by observing it over a short period of time, they can guess where this original kind of comic come from by calculating this one. Why it can be calculated? Because it satisfies this kind of observability constraint for that. So that's the reason, okay, when this kind of NASA observe some kind of comic or some kind of things on the things in this kind of universe, they can guess where is the original come from and how it's possible because of the observability. And then, okay, according to this theorem, this observability and controllability are kind of dual concept. Basically, if you have this observability, typically you have controllability. So basically, this is the case. And then let's come to a kind of an example. So basically, we want to So we want to minimize this kind of, it's called optimal time problem. So we want to have a control, alpha. And this is the cost. The cost is say that, okay, I finish this job. I finish this job from 0 to 12. And when I'm doing this job, I have this one. And then the overall is just the finish time. So in other words, okay, this optimal time problem is trying to minimize the finish time for that. Okay, so basically this one. And if we want to do this one, and then, okay, there is this optimal Banban control for this one. I will talk about what is the Banban control later, okay, but here I give you a concept for this. And then, okay, I mean, before I prove this Banban control, I give you this kind of most interesting story. This story is basically called maximum principle for linear system. So suppose you remember this one is a control. This one is a control that I want to have, for example. This is one here, but there's still integration. How could I know that my instantaneous control such that I can achieve my goal? So basically this one is what this kind of maximum principle means. The maximum principle says that, okay, this one is useless. This is the equation I just showed you. But in order to achieve the optimal one, there's a called the pan-transient maximum principle. Basically means if there's a fixed h, such that I can have this matrix, this x is a control a state, and then n is this kind of control one, and then this is the optimal one. We try to optimize among all this kind of control, such that we can maximize this one. Suppose if we can maximize this one, then the control, this alpha is optimal to solve all this existing one. So in other words, from here to here, what is the major thing? Here you have integration. You have to calculate everything. Here I don't have. So basically, I change the dynamic programming over time into a constraint optimization, or maybe this one even no constraint optimization. But how come this from here to here is optimal, right? And then they have the proof. Later I will show you that, okay, from here to here, this one is optimal. And there are two things I want to mention. Okay, first one about this pan-transient. This pan-transient is a Russia kind of is a Russia mathematician, and he got blind due to accident at the age of maybe 11. But then, okay, he was educated well by this his mother, and developed this one, and he becomes the chief of National Academy of Science in Russia. So basically, due to his contribution, and without this contribution, basically, okay, all this kind of NASA rocket is there's no way you can do that. Okay, so basically, this is contribution. And the second thing is that, okay, how could I calculate h? You say that there exists a non-zero vector. So the question is, how could we calculate h? And then, okay, the people later try to determine called Hamilton. So this h can be defined in this way. So basically, okay, we introduce a kind of p, which called call state, which this is a x is the state, m is a constant matrix, alpha is my control, n is this kind of constant, and then introduce a parameter p. And then finally we define this kind of function as a Hamilton. And then the optimal state, this ODE, I can rewrite the ODE as this way. So differentiate this p, if I differentiate p, this p disappears. So this one is the original ODE, right? Xt equal to mx plus n alpha. So this is the original one. And then I have an ADG equation. Basically, the optimal p will equal to the differential of optimal p is equal to the differential of Hamilton function with the x, with my current state x. And then this kind of the final equation, this M equation, basically, okay, after calculating this P, I put the P here, I put P here, and then I try to calculate the, and also I got the X optimal here. So according to these two equations, I already put the X star and the P star here. And then what the rest is try to do a unconstrained optimization for my control. And after that, I got this optimal condition. And this optimal control will solve the original problem. Will solve my original problem of this one, which have all this from integration from 0 to t. But now we don't have any integration. So this is called, the step. So here, okay, the key concept is that, okay, originally I have to do plan, for example, for you guys, you want to achieve your goal, graduation, right? And then starting from today to the graduation date, that is your goal. How could you optimize yourself? Well, maybe the first 2 years have fun, the last 2 years, and the third year begin nervous, and the last year try to work hard. Now, is that the optimal solution? Might not be optimal solution. So here, the key concept is that, okay, we divide the original integration from 0 to t into an instantaneous. So anytime instantaneous, they give you an optimal solution. So in other words, if you think about the time as a day by day, so what is the day? What is the optimal things I should do today? And then the next day, what I should do? So in other words, what is the dynamic programming? Dynamic programming is you have a very complicated time. You have a very complicated problem over the different time. But you divide it into a small piece over the different time. And then for each time, you can do an optimization problem. And then today, for example, today, how much time I have? Okay, in the morning I teach, in the afternoon I prepare tomorrow's class, and at night maybe I do some kind of talk with my student in Houston. Okay, and then okay, I can optimize my time at least today. So here, the key contribution for this maximum principle is because the original integration time become a set of optimization problem, which become much easier. And this one will also be optimal. How to prove it? Sorry, okay. You see the control, of dynamic control courses. I will skip for that. But here, this is basically the concept. And here is the example. And I have a rocket. I have a rocket road car. This is rocket. And then we have this kind of the location and speed is my state. And this is the control. I have a rocket engine starting shooting this way or that way. Can be minus, so my action is -1 shooting this way or 1 shooting this way. And then this is my ODE. And then we can calculate this kind of M equation, which I showed in the previous one. And then by some derivation, which I can give you a quick view. By some derivation, this is M. Let me see. Okay. This is the M equation. This is the M equation, and then we do the optimization for this one. And when we do the optimization for this one, we found out that okay, this kind of optimal control is equal to sine of this one. So what does this mean? This means that okay, I have when this one is greater than 0, I have 1. Otherwise, I have -1. This will give me a kind of optimal solution for that. And so basically, okay, this is called Bandman control. Why is called Bandman control? This is a satellite. Okay, suppose you have a satellite moving around, and then you have a satellite engine. And then for satellite engine, there's a rocket engine. There's a one interesting thing. You cannot volume control. It's just shooting, and with a certain thrust. It's fixed. And then, okay, what you can control is that how many seconds you open it. If you see this sci-fi movie or you see any kind of space kind of movie, and you will see that okay, those people shooting, moving around, shooting here and shooting there, and then okay, all these engines have no power control. No power control. It's just shooting this way for how many seconds, and shooting on that way how many seconds, and then that's it. So the question is that okay, is this a kind of optimal thing? And then the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay, because of this kind of duration here. So in other words, okay, in space, for rocket engine, there's no way to do like our cell phone to do the power control, and or like my volume to do the power control. You just open this kind of thrust to the highest one, and then okay, what you can control is how many seconds for each direction, and then by doing this, your control is already optimal. So basically, this is what is this kind of thing. So this is for NASA, you have controllability and you have observability. Controllability, you can reach to anywhere in the world, in the universe with finite time. And observability, anything come here, we can by short period of time observation, we know where its origin is. And then for this bang control, basically okay, with the engine shooting, and then we can do the optimal thing. Okay, so here's the summary. Okay, for pan-transient maximal principle, theoretical, if alpha, this control, ultimate control, there is this function, this is called a cos state, that satisfies a certain maximal principle. We should think about the function as a sort of Lagrange multiplier, which appear owing to the constant that the optimal curve satisfies the ODE, and just as a conventional Lagrange multiplier are used for extra calculation. This also will be a cos state. But anyway, here, if I go back a little bit, so this P basically give a kind of if you think about this one, Lagrange multiplier, this is basically multiply this one of the original one. So you can think in this way, but just a kind of interpretation. And here, okay, another thing that okay, for this pan-transient, which is living between the First World War and Second World War, and his contribution basically, he's confident enough he is the father of a rocket. Okay, for the space exploration, without his contribution, okay, now we are not there. Okay, but on the other hand, okay, if you come to the Western culture, and they only call this one as the maximum principle, because pan-transient, for some reason, he's a very anti-Jewish. Okay, for some reason. Okay. Anyway, so for fixed time and free end problem. So basically here, we have this kind of ODE with an initial state. We want to optimize the payoff function, and then with the cost, final cost, such as we optimize this one. So basically, we're making this one as general, more general. And then for such kind of case, if you have this, here compared with the previous one, we have this kind of final cost. For example, for this SpaceX, the rocket, when it goes up and when it's landing, here this cost is important because when it's landing, the speed should be 0. Otherwise it's crash, right? So basically, at the time t, this one, a certain component should be 0. So in this case, this kind of Hamilton will a little bit modified, and then we have all this kind of, we have beyond ODE, ADG, and we have another termination kind of condition, which is called transversality condition. So in this case, we have one more equation to solve. But overall, everything is those are kind of just equation. This is a kind of optimization. So overall, it's still kind of much simpler. There's no There's no integration over t involved. Okay. And here, there's another example called fixed time, fixed endpoint problem. Okay. And basically, okay, it's a similar thing. I think I can skip it. And basically, they give another ODE for that. Okay. And well, that is a kind of I mean, general case. But on the other hand, the dynamic control is very limited in the sense that, okay, those four equations, you cannot get closed form solution. Especially this one, you cannot get closed form solution. And in order to get a closed form solution, you have limitation. First one, your ODE must be linear. Maybe here you have some matrix, doesn't matter, but have to be linear. This one. Second one, your cost function have to be linear or quadratic, especially quadratic. You can add some linear term here. It doesn't matter, it's just shift. But your cost function have to be a quadratic. Under these two cases, linear ODE and a quadratic cost, then you can get a closed form solution, which is called Riccati equation, which we want to minimize the overall cost of quadratic cost. In this case, we calculate this maximum principal. So this is the Hamilton, and then we try to have the M, ODE, ADG, T equation, which can calculate over this kind of a differentiation. And that is not important. You can see my slide later. But here, what we want to do is that, okay, this is the ODE using the maximum principle. We want to find a control of alpha equal to a current state times a constant, times a function of t, c. So the question is, what is the c? And by some derivation, here we come to this Riccati equation. This Riccati equation tells that, okay, my current optimal solution, optimal control, is equal to a dt times my current state, where the dt is equal to, can be calculated, dt can be calculated into those equations, and which will have a kind of a solution, closed form solution for this one. So in other words, okay, the Riccati equation means, okay, if your optimization, dynamic optimization problem is a linear quadratic one, then your optimal solution is equal to your current state, your control is equal to d function times current state. Or d function you can calculate is a parameter of the current one. You can get a closed form solution. So by doing this, okay, you can get a closed form solution. You don't even need to do an optimization. So here, what I want to say is that, okay, here you still do an optimization. And this one, okay, might not be kind of directly present. But if you have linear quadratic one, then you don't even need to do optimization. Directly you get the result. So basically, this is the thing. And here, okay, let me see what is the D1. Okay. Basically, D can be calculated into some kind of derivation. But anyway, I think I can skip this one, not important. Okay, and that is the dynamic control. And then, okay, the next one I want to talk about is a little bit called dynamic programming. And for dynamic programming, sometimes it's easier to solve a problem embedded in a large problem and then solve large problem like this one. So basically, okay, enlightened by this kind of maximum principle, it's a Bellman, which is a kind of a Second World War veteran. And after the Second World War, he went to Princeton and then finished his PhD in 3 months. And so basically, this is a Bellman equation. And so the basic idea is that, okay, we want to suppose we have this kind of ODE, and we want to starting time. So basically, in the history, I cannot kind of change anything. So my current time is lower capital T. And then, okay, previously, for example, previous 2 years, I have already played hard. And then I need to graduate in 4 years. So starting from now, what should I do? To the end, such that we can optimize solution. So basically, this is a kind of a dynamic program. And so we want to find a control, such as from time t to the end, we can optimize this one. And so what they do is called Hamilton-Jacobian-Bellman equation. And so this Hamilton-Jacobian-Bellman equation means that, okay, we want to, suppose this is my current kind of state. And then we want to optimize action such as, okay, let me see, okay. Let me go back a little bit. Give me 1 second. Here, what they want to do is that, okay, let me see this way, okay. We have this termination condition. So basically, okay, at the end, we should have achieved certain goal. For example, this is your graduation. So at the end, this is the final goal. And then here, okay, the HAB equation basically means, okay, starting from here, when we go back from t, the previous time, maybe t minus 1, and then we found out that, okay, what is the optimal control? The optimal control is calculated by the final, if I go back one more time, and then my optimal control for each time should satisfy this condition. And then, okay, this condition will make my optimal control for that time. So basically here, okay, this is a Hamilton-Bellman equation. So basically here, what they want to say is that, okay, I think in this way. How could they do this one? Suppose starting from time t now to the end of the time here. Suppose in 2 years you have to graduation, right? So this is basically your final time. And then what is the optimal control? You're starting from here, the day of graduation. Then you come back 1 day. So I'm just 1 day away from this optimal, my final goal. So what is my optimal thing? Optimal control to do this. And then after I finish it, I go back 1 more day. I do the control. Suppose the last day is already done. The last day, what should I do? And going back until now. And then this is the optimal. This is the optimal. And obviously, okay, that is the optimal. Suppose, okay, I know when I will die. And then if I'm gone, I'm genie, I can control the time. So I can do this kind of, backward, it's called backward induction. It's called backward induction. So basically, okay, I change my time experience starting from my last day. And then I do optimization for last day. And then I do another sequence of optimization for last day, and the 3 days before my death. And then come to, until to the beginning of my birth. That is obviously the optimal solution, right? Suppose, okay, 2 years later, if I know that, okay, if I buy some stock, okay, it will going up, yeah, I will do it, right? So basically, this is the key concept of this kind of HAB or Bellman equation. Typically, we call, in discrete time, we call it Bellman equation. In continual time, we call it HAB equation. So basically, okay, for such kind of equation, we changing the original problem integration from 0 to t to a sequence optimization from capital T back into the original, back into the current time. So basically, this is the key concept for this HAB equation. And here, this is a step solving the HAB equation and thereby compute the value and then put into the control. Finally, we get this optimal control. So what is the optimal control at the current time? So in summary, we design the optimal control in this way. If the state system is X at time t, use the control at time t and take parameter alpha such as minimize the HAB is obtained. So this is basically called dynamic program. And here, suppose we have this kind of linear, and then we have this quadratic. You see this is quadratic, x times b times x. This is quadratic, and this is also quadratic, and this is also quadratic. And then we maximize this quadratic payoff of a linear ODE. And then the HAB equation will be looks very nice into this way. And then we can solve the optimal control alpha by solving this equation at any time t. Any time t. So basically, this is a HAB equation. And then, okay, for this kind of thing, and then this is called Riccati equation. So the optimal control will equal to a kind of a function like this one, where Cn is basically constant, yes, and V is defined, and then we just do a differentiation. So basically, the optimal control for each time can be kind of, can be have a closed form solution. So in other words, okay, if your ODE or this kind of concept, if your ODE is linear and your constraint, your optimization is quadratic, and then, okay, you will have a closed form. You will have a closed form. Other case, you don't have. And I have tried to find some kind of closed form solution with my former student, and we tried many times. And until we realized that, okay, in 1970s, 1960s, I mean, those smart people already try a lot. And the only thing that possible is this kind of a linear quadratic. So for this dynamic control, dynamic gain part, if you want to formulate, and you have to have linear ODE quadratic cost. And that's somewhat limited your kind of ability to do this one. Anyway, so basically this is a dynamic control. And oh, by the way, okay, I was in Paris for a conference, and the conference kind of reception is in Louvre museum Louvre, basically where Mona Lisa is. And then okay, in the reception I tried to talk with Tamer Bassam, basically kind of the godfather for this dynamic control. Okay, I say okay, this is my derivation. I use the derivation from MATLAB, so I think I'm right. And then he told me that after looking at this one, he got a manual, real manual, because there's no paper. And then tried to write on the back of the manual to indicate where I made a mistake. My boundary condition is not right. So basically, write down there and tell me that I was wrong. So I was so impressed by this guy. Okay. Anyway, inside the museum Louvre and derived those things. Anyway. So anyway. So basically, compared with the maximum principle and dynamic programming, maximum principle starting from 0 to t, dynamic programming from the current time t to t. And basically, this newly introduced core state is basically the gradient. And so basically, okay, this is a comparison. Okay, so here, okay, we go through very quick about this one. Remember this one, okay? Those is the whole semester class. Here I just give you an overview. And let me recap a little bit. So basically, what is the story? We have an ODE, and then over the time, we want to optimize it. And then, okay, for ODE, there's a concept of controllability and observability. And then for linear ODE, typically, okay, I mean, if your objective function is also linear, then you will have band control, basically 0 and -1 and 1. So it's a 1. And then, okay, after that, for general one, you have the maximal principle. And the maximal principle basically change your original optimization problem over, I mean, with the integration into three equations. Basically ODE, ADG, and M, maybe 4 as a termination condition. And then, okay, those problems become a constraint optimization. And finally, we have dynamic programming. So the dynamic programming is almost the same as the maximal principle, but it illustrates the concept that, okay, in order to optimize from time t to the end of the time t, to the end of the world, then you're starting optimization from the end of the world, and then optimize one day by day, back to down, and it will be obviously optimal. And that is called backward induction. So basically, okay. And typically, okay, for example, every year I try to meet 3 deadlines: GlowCom, InfoCom, and ICC. Okay. So basically, okay, I know, I mean, by observing the student, I know how much kind of ability he has. So typically, I told him, okay, the last week, you need to do the patch up or all these minor things. And the last month, you need to do the simulation. And then, okay, maybe another 2 weeks, I mean, maybe 6 weeks before the end deadline, you need to begin to write it without simulation. And then maybe 10 weeks before the deadline, we need to start in discussion what is the problem formulation, right? So basically, starting from the end, in order to meet the deadline, I try to kind of optimize, okay, in the last week, what you should do. In the last 2 weeks, another last 2 weeks, what you should do. And the last 2 weeks. So by doing this, I can meet the deadline. Okay, so typically, okay, my whole group try to meet this deadline, and then I try to do the dynamic programming for them. And then, as I mentioned, okay, after every deadline, I will arrange this kind of event. And for example, I mean, here's career, and I like the archery. And then whoever the student meets the deadline, let's play the archery. Whoever not meet the deadline becomes the target, and then we can shoot. So that is the optimal control. Okay. Anyway, so here, okay, those things are related to this kind of control. It's against the nature. And as I mentioned, the difference between the control and the gain is that you against the other. So in this case, what you should do? And here, okay, this is a dynamic game. So the dynamic game, first we have a 2-person zero-sum differential game. So the basic idea is a 2-player control the dynamic of some evolution system, where one tries to maximize and the other tries to minimize. And the payoff function depending on the trajectory. So basically, okay, you have over the time, and then one user have this kind of control by user A. Beta is controlled by user B. So basically, you see the ODE. Now, you have two players. One is control alpha, one is control beta. And for those guys, okay, I mean, later, okay, after you guys get married, and you want to turn down the air condition, and probably your partner or significant other want to turn up the air condition. And then you have this ODE, and then what is the cost function? What is the gain Nash equilibrium for this? Okay. So basically, this is an example. So you see here, you become gain in the sense that, okay, you are not only against nature, but also against the other. So under this case, what you can do? And so we have the payoff function. of this one. So over time, you see, previously it's only one control. Now I have two control. And finally, we have termination cost for that. So basically, okay, this one. And then, okay, the player one is trying to maximize this kind of utility function. And the player two is want to minimize this utility function. And this is called two-person zero-sum differential gap, because one is maximized, the other is minimized. And this one, later I will show you, it can fit into many kind of applications. And after I finish this one, I will show you this application. And then, okay, we define the control. That, your control alpha and beta should have some set, which have for example, for power control, from 0 to P max, for example, you have a feasible set for your control, which defined as A and B. And then the strategy. One player will select in advance not his control, but rather his response to all possible control that can be selected by his component. So basically, what this one means, okay, in game theory, what's the difference between the strategy and action? The action is really what you do with the power control of this one. I have 2 watt power control. I occupy channel 1. This is called action. So what is strategy? Strategy means, okay, if you do this one, I will do this one. If you do that one, I will do that one. So basically, I have a set of this kind of book, and depending on what your action, I select one of them. And one example, okay, I'm trying to, one of my PhD students, and he's doing the hurricane control, the hurricane access management. So basically, okay, what he do is that, okay, you know that Houston have a lot of hurricane, and last year we have one day we have 1.2 meter water, okay, rainfall, 1.2 meter. The whole Houston is underwater anyway. So basically, okay, and then what he do is that, okay, he try to say, okay, the hurricane come with a different kind of, because it's random, you don't know where it comes. And then depending on the hurricane, for example, where it hit, what is the category, what is the strength, and then I have a set of the book that depending on the situation, the engineer will decide what to do. For example, how many kind of pole I should put where, and how many people we should assemble different places. So this is called strategy. So basically, this is the difference between the strategy and action. Okay. And then, okay, so basically, okay, we need to mapping file such that, okay, if you have a kind of any action, we will map into this kind of, it's called a strategy for a player I. If for all the T, we have, we try to, so basically, we can calculate that with player 1, suppose player 2 is doing B, and then what is the player 1 should do? And then it's just a mapping. If you do this one, I have this one. If you do that one, I have that one. So this kind of mapping is called strategy, which we define as the file. And vice versa. For this other user, we call it proceed. And then, okay, so this is the side of the strategy, and we have the lower value function and upper value function. Basically means, okay, this one basically, okay, in the worst case, suppose I try to defend you, and then, okay, what is the worst case I can defend you? Suppose, okay, I really don't know what you can do, what you can damage to me. Then among all the damage you can do to me, I select a strategy to optimize my payoff, right? So basically, we two play game. I really don't know what you want to play. But then I try to select one that I make in the worst case situation. Suppose I assume that you are evil. you try to kind of make my life most miserable, then what should I do? I should defend myself into the sense that, okay, I optimize my life, right? And vice versa, okay, vice versa for the other user. So here, for the dynamic game, this is a dynamic, when we do this dynamic programming, and then this one, the solution itself will call Isaka's equation. So basically, suppose, so you see that this is called, this is, how can I say? You should remember this is an HAB equation for one of the user. This is another HAB equation for the other user. And then we try to have this kind of Isaka equation to analyze this kind of a two-person zero-sum game, which is very similar to HAB equation. And then, okay. Suppose, okay, this condition means, okay, one of the guy, I want to screw you up. The most, A want to screw B most, and B want to defend most, and vice versa. B want to screw up A most, and A want to defend most. And then finally we have this kind of equilibrium. So for this equilibrium, and it's called this kind of condition. This is called this Nash equilibrium for this kind of kind of dynamic game. So what does this solution look like? It looks like a saddle point. So what is a saddle point? So if you think about a horse saddle, and this vertical, this direction, and then there's another direction like this one. So this is the one direction, and on the other direction is this one. It's like a horse saddle. You see down here. And one user try to minimize this way. The other user minimize this way. The other user try to optimize this way. And finally, where is the solution? Where is the equilibrium? It's right down here, right? Right down here. So this is a called saddle point. Saddle point. And that's big. So this is a saddle point is the Nash equilibrium. That's for the dynamic game. Because one is for the dynamic zero-sum game. Because one is want to minimize, the other want to optimize. And to give you an example, okay. A joke, okay. Here in this in Asia, for camel, they have two hump. They have two hump, and one hump, two hump. You sit in the middle, very comfortable. So basically, this is called Isaka, Nash equilibrium. Okay, and 2000, I went to Egypt, and somebody book a kind of a tour for me to take this camel in camel ride, 4 hours camel ride in Sahara to the pyramid. And I think it's okay until I realized that okay, in this in Africa, this camel only has one hump. So you sit right on the hump, and it's definitely not comfortable at all. It's just a joke. Okay, anyway. So here, okay, basically, I tell you this kind of concept for this one. And the solution for that kind of thing can be calculated from the Isaka equation. And here, the similar things, we introduce this kind of this maximal principle by using this game theory kind of Hamilton by introduce a new variable p. And then, okay, and then we do the optimal thing. But, okay, the different thing is that, okay, the different thing here is that, okay, how could you kind of control this kind of information? So the opponent, as I mentioned, for game, there's another one important information about the information. So basically how, for example, for chess, you will have complete information. For this kind of other competition, you don't know the other information. So here, for dynamic game, you have this kind of available information. One is called open loop. So after control, I There's no feedback. No feedback for me. And then I have another few things called closed loop. For the closed loop, basically means, okay, whatever you do, I immediately get the result. I immediately can observe. And there's one thing called feedback information. So in this case, at time t, the player assumes to know the value of the state variable at t minus x7. So I have a short delay for that. So basically, I have an Easter time delay for that. So this Easter is due to the feedback kind of delay. So in this case, okay, what is this kind of solution? So here, when you try to analyze the Nash equilibrium for this dynamic game, you need to worry about the information. So you have three types: open loop, closed loop, and feedback information. And the solution will be slightly different. So here I want to raise the eyeball for this. And then, okay, we try to non-cooperative efficient game. So basically, this is the ODE, and this is a kind of, so here, this objective function is your control, and your state, and all the other state, and your control, and all the others' control. And then you do this type of thing. And finally, okay, you can get the closed form kind of open loop and closed form. You can see the result will be different. But here for detail, okay, please read Tamer Basar's book. And here I just give you a kind of high level kind of concept. So basically, okay, this is kind of a non-cooperative game. And finally, okay, let's summarize. And before we go to another few examples, what time is it? We have time to go through the example. So here is the summary. What is the problem formulation? You have an ODE and you have a payoff function over the time, integration over time. And then for such kind of things, you need to prove that, okay, your kind of system is controllable and observable. And basically it's depending on your ODE and the payoff function of eigenvalue. And then, okay, if your payoff function is linear, then you will have a Banban control, basically 0 and 1, plus 1 and minus 1 control, like this kind of rocket engine. And in other cases, you need to solve the original problem will be changed into the maximum principle of four equations: ODE, ADG, M, and P. And basically, you can solve this one, these four, and then you can get the optimal solution of the original one. And then finally, this kind of dynamic programming. Dynamic programming, okay, basically using IJD equation such that you can divide the overtime complicated problem into sequence of sub-problems starting from the end of the day and each day going back. So basically, this is the principle. And for this dynamic game, okay, you have multi-user case, and also, okay, in the future, you can have statistic game. Basically, there are parameters which is random. So let's see a little bit about, this kind of example. So basically, okay, for packet routing in wireless network, for routing in mobile ad-hoc network, the forward node as a player have incentive from the destination in terms of price to allocate transmission rate to feedback from the source. And the differential game for this duopoly competition is applied to model this competition situation. So basically, for packet routing, we try to formulate. So for packet routing, there are two forward nodes, player 1 and player 2, that's considered to be in the game. And the destination pays some money according to amount of forward data. And the forward node compete with each other. So these two compete with each other by adjusting the forward rate. So how much I want to forward to maximize the utility over the time. So basically over the time, I want to control this one, control the packet forwarding, such as I can get a payment better for this one. So this is over the time, this dynamic one. And then the payment from the time, the payment is P. And this is a cost function. And this is a quadratic cost. This is a quadratic cost. And basically, I got a payment due to my action, but on the other hand, I have a quadratic payoff, a quadratic cost. And GA is a function given A as the action of the player. Okay, that's maybe a constant. And constant, yeah. And overall, we want to optimize this kind of over the time. And for payment, we have the price according to this kind of differential equation. So the price itself is a differential equation. And which is so to this one. This one is interesting thing, okay. If my action is too high, so I'm very willing to do that. That means this A1 and A2 is big, then okay, this value becomes smaller or even negative, so my price will drop. So in other, I will pay less. So basically, okay, in other words, so what you interpret this one. Suppose I have job opening. Let's say, okay, $1,000 per hour. And probably all you guys come to see me. So everybody have a lot of action. Then I'm thinking, no, $500. Anybody here? Anybody here? And then do a lot of things. Then I try to reduce my price until to a certain point. Okay, it's become equilibrium. So basically, this is a kind of makes sense, right? If everybody wants to take the action due to the price you give to me, then okay, you should drop the price, right? So this one. And another example is that, okay, when I was in the college, university, second year PhD study, there's a Japanese professor, and every time he has a homework, and if everybody can submit the homework, he will double in the next week, until only half of them can submit. Yeah, so basically a similar story. Okay, anyway. And then we have the packet routing using the optimal control with the feedback Nash equilibrium. Then the optimal pricing, how much I need to do, is equal to the pricing minus the current pricing, certain value. And so basically, okay, this one, my optimal kind of action will according to this one. This one is calculated by this IJB equation. Okay, and so. Case. And another example. So this is one example, and another example is that okay, we have the dynamic bandwidth allocation with a dynamic service selection in heterogeneous network. So in heterogeneous network, there's a multiple wireless network. However, none of the existing work consider the dynamic bandwidth allocation in heterogeneous wireless network in which the user can change the service selection dynamically. The network system are naturally dynamic, so the steady state may be never reached. So therefore, dynamic optimal control is suitable. So basically, the story is that okay, I have a different type of service provider, Wi-Fi, LTE, or some other kind of company. In the United States, we may have multiple companies. So basically, okay, for service provider, they want to maximize the profit. For user, we want to optimize the performance under the competition. So basically, okay, for different service provider, they have their kind of pricing, their kind of strategy over time. So it's a game, right? So for different users provider, they change their pricing. And then for different user, we select the different service provider to have the optimal payoff over time. So basically, there's competition among this kind of different provider, and also the user will select the optimal service provider to optimize this one. So basically, okay, for the user, they select this one, and then a service provider, they have the differential gain to competition, and then, so the service provider will obtain this kind of a bandwidth which have a cost, which will serve the user. Then the user, if select this service provider, will pay something. So basically, okay, and this is how this between this user and provider. And then the service provider between them is a differential gain. They need to compete with each other. And then here is this kind of gain formulation. Oh, here, okay. I will talk after the break about the evolutional gain. So basically, okay, the evolutional gain is that, okay, one species, I mean, well, how can I say that? Basically, okay, the population of one species, I mean, will change according to the different conditions. And here basically means, okay, the population of the customer for a specific user service provider will change. I mean, depending on how much service it can provide. And so below it can formulate an evolutional gain, and above is this kind of differential gain. So for evolutional gain, I skip a little bit, and because next I will talk about in the next class. And let me see. So basically, okay, the player is for the upper level dynamic game. The player is this kind of unservice provider. They have the optimal control, and such as they have system state with this kind of cost function. And what they do is that, okay, what they do is want to optimize this cost function over the different time. Such as, okay, they have some kind of, according to a certain ODE. So this certain ODE, this X, is the number of customers. X is number of customers. And so basically, if your performance is better, if you give the better performance, this X differentiation is the increase or decrease of your kind of customer. And if your service is better, and your current population is not small, and then overall the population will grow. So basically, this is a kind of we want to optimize this kind of cost function, which I buy from this service. This is how many users I have, and then I charge with the price this one. So this is the whole revenue, and this one is that, okay, in order to serve this user, how much cost I have to pay to buy the bandwidth. And then overall, over the time, I want to do that one, and this is the constraint. So this is basically a two-level game. And then, okay, they have open loop and the closed loop kind of Nash equilibrium, which I think I defined before. And finally, they use this Hamilton maximum principle to solve the above problem. And this is a Hamilton kind of function. And finally, you'll see that okay, it can converge. For dynamic, starting from this one, they converge to the steady state. And then this is the marketing. I mean, suppose the service provider does not change their kind of strategy, and then okay, over the time, this is the percentage of market they will change. And then if they change their new strategy, for example, Samsung provide a new, let's say, okay, a new kind of camera. For example, okay, back in China, Huawei have a new camera with a new phone with a three camera. And then after take a picture, you can decide where the picture is zoomed. You can zoom close by or zoom far away. You can adjust by yourself due to the three camera. And then immediately, this is a very, very good kind of booming, right? And then, okay, immediately after this one, the marketing, due to the change of strategy, the marketing will going up. And then how could you analyze these type of things, such as, okay, if you don't change, then under current strategy, okay, what is the market share you have? So this is basically what they are trying to analyze. Here is a summary. And so the basic of differential game has been studied, and here we studied the two applications, and then the dynamic game can be used into other applications. And here, okay, if you want to do the dynamic game, okay, my suggestion is that, okay, first, Temple Bazaar is this kind of University of Urban UIUC, University of Illinois and Urbana-Champaign is definitely this type of kind of the biggest guy in this field. And another guy is probably Professor Altman in Europe, in France. And try to pay attention those two people's kind of, two professors kind of work. And if you want to do this one, you try to find the new application, very new application. My student do this smart building, which is new. In other words, they haven't done it yet, okay? And this is first suggestion, you found it in a very new application. And the second thing is that, okay, you try to define your ODE as linear, your cost function as quadratic. Otherwise, you don't have any good solution. So basically this thing. And there are nice things about dynamic game. There's a limitation about dynamic game. So basically this is a kind of very quick overview about dynamic control and dynamic game. And let's have a break. And in the after the break, let's talk about evolution game. I mean, basically, okay, under this condition, how the virus grow, or going back here. Here, okay. If the service provider, for example, Verizon, compare with T-Mobile, they give me a better kind of pricing strategy. Then the user will switch to this, right? Or you know that in the United States they have a lot of kind of car insurance company, and basically, okay, they all have provide some kind of new incentive for people to switch to it. And if you go to the United States, you know this Geico. Geico is an insurance company. Their slogan is that, okay, I just save kind of 15% of my car insurance by switching to Geico. And I remember that, okay, after graduation, I went to a top university to have an interview. And finally, I got this second place. So I didn't win it. And my advisor, feel very sad. And I replied to him that, okay, I lost the competition in that university, but I have good news. By switching my car insurance to Geico. My advisor just cannot believe it. Anyway, so next class I will talk about this kind of lower part, and then it's called evolution game, and which is you can consider as a simplified version of dynamic game, but it's very different. So let's have a break, and maybe 10:45.